Yes. Okay. I think this is going to work. Kind of, sort of. Let's hope for the best. All right. Hi, guys. So, live on YouTube and Facebook over here. Hi on X over there. Trying new things as it is. But hi, welcome back to day 245 of my living experiment. That is where I jump on here to tell you about life in the Free State, which is the freest place in the nation and possibly the world, at least according to studies. So today is Labor Day. I finally figured out what my confusion is Labor Day everywhere else in the world is super commie, and it's in May, right? May Day 31st. So for the longest time, I was like, why can't I remember when Labor Day is and when Memorial Day is? But it's because in America, they're the wrong way around. So finally figured that out today. How has your day been going? Mine has been pretty great, kind of exhausting, redoing the linen closet, so kind of figuring that out. Also decided to clean my entire bookshelf, not this one, but the one upstairs. So I had to dust it, take all the books down, do all of that. Then we went for a nice hike with the dog. Then we came home because actually the guy who's working on our house showed up today. So I invited him for a late lunch. So we just finished that. So all in all, a pretty productive, good day. I also, for folks following along, survived my 72-hour 3-day fast, which we broke yesterday. And then today I had a huge, big, fat piece of steak, as one should do. All right. Since it is Monday, even though it's a holiday, I usually do an update about what's coming up in the Free State. But a little birdie gave me this, by which I mean I don't actually even know where, but here it was, and here it is. And so I will definitely be doing a more comprehensive little breakdown for folks who are curious. But this is the document that Jean Ditch, who from Granite State Matters created. She's on this road show. She's like a giant little hater. And it's New Hampshire Battleground in the fight to dismantle democracy, a wake-up call for Granite Staters and the nation. And it is quite dramatic, all the things she's got in here, but it is pretty much a great study in propaganda. And so that is going to be the way I think I will analyze it later. But since my teaser on X was not one word of this sentence is true, I'm going to read the sentence, and then at some stage we can later in the week maybe analyze more of it. But here we go, page 39 of this crazy screed, where there is a lot of inaccurate information. This one says, militant members of the LP&H, led by FSP board chair Carla Garrick, have formed a radical Mises caucus. The New Hampshire Mises Caucus Twitter X account promised to take any steps necessary to gain a Granite State libertarian homeland. Image 10. I should find image 10 here. So I find this really, really hilarious. There is a little image here as well, but the funny part is that is not true. I'm not a militant member of anything. I'm not even sure I'm currently a member of the LP&H. I may be, but usually I'm not. I am the board chair of the Free State Project, so that is indeed accurate. And I did not form the Radical Mises Caucus. So there we have it, folks. Pretty inaccurate. And that, of course, I went first for whatever's, about me, but I will come back and let you guys know about all of you and whatever is in here. But based on my very cursory little page through today, I'm like, now that I found it, I'm like, that looks like a whole lot of nonsense. All right, what's coming up in the Free State this week? So tomorrow, for folks following about the whole pickle scandal, there is, which pun is the best? There is the upcoming Brine tree riot, We have Brine and punishment. We have the city of Manchester is in a pickle, or live free or dill. But whatever your flavor is of the pickle issue, I believe tomorrow at City Hall there will be a protest, because what happened? Some dude pickled a bunch of pickles and then put it on Facebook for his friends and family to buy. And then the city of Manchester decided in all their wisdom they were going to go after the poor guy. And now the whole town is in a pickle. So here is what was reported at NH Journal by Michael Graham. Brine and punishment. GOP wants to put a lid on the Manchester pickle ban. So it's been interesting, because this is one of those issues that we have seen coming up here in New Hampshire, which is sort of hometown rules over what the state can say. And the way it's supposed to work is you're supposed to default to whichever one is the most free, right? Like if the state doesn't mind, if you're a homesteader and you're pickling pickles, why would the city of Manchester care so hard? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. So state lawmakers are now preparing pro-pickle legislation, and the chairman of the board of aldermen and mayor are demanding answers from city agencies. Joe Kelly Lavasser, for those of you who know him here in the city, is getting involved. And basically we feel like this is just a massive overstep by the city of Manchester, and you still have time to reverse course. So let's do that. Okay. The other things I want to talk about briefly is what's coming up in the Free State this week. If you're not subscribed to the Free State Project letter, you can go to fsp.org/calendar. You can find all the information there. It's a holiday, so I'm going to run through it pretty quickly. The two actual events I want to highlight that are coming up for me this week. Tomorrow, Unshrunk is the book. I'm going to tell you about that in a second. So there's the event from Brownstone Supper Club, which of course started during COVID, where they decided to meet despite the lockdowns, and it has kind of emerged as this great thing. There are often a bunch of Free Staters who go down. In fact, I'm meeting 3 or 4 of them down there tomorrow evening. Louis has an ed opt board meeting, so he can't make it, so I'm kind of just gonna roll solo and meet some friends down there. The book, I did read it. I don't always read the books for the book club, but this one I did read, and I actually would recommend as a great read, even just as if you like memoirs about people who kind of turn their lives around, which is certainly one of my favorite genres. So, summary of Unshrunk, a story of psychiatric treatment resistance by Laura Delano. It's a powerful, powerful memoir which chronicles her 14-year journey through the American mental health system, beginning with a bipolar disorder diagnosis at the age of 13. Despite her outward success as a straight A student and a nationally ranked squash player, Delano struggled with intense emotional distress, leading to a cascade of psychiatric diagnoses and 19 prescribed medications. This is part of what is wrong with what is going on in the world, and specifically here in America. There is too many pharmaceuticals, but probably too many farts too, frankly. All right, too many pharmaceuticals out there. So over time, Laura's condition worsened, labeled as treatment resistant, prompting her to question whether the treatments themselves were exacerbating her suffering. This event, I'm not going to go into the whole book, but it really is a good read. It really opens your eyes about the nonsense the pharmaceutical company uses to base their science on in order to get these medications in front of people. Of course, we know there's a lot of off-label prescribing that happens. It really just is. You know, maybe the best advice I can give anyone is, honestly, the way you should look at the medical industrial complex in this country is, and especially the pharmaceutical arm, the pill poppers, is they are snake oilsmen, and you shouldn't trust them. Because if someone is telling you that you need to take a pill for the rest of your life and isn't trying to improve your life through lifestyle choices and through things that you can do yourself, then they are trying to charm you. Don't fall for it. All right, so this event tomorrow is taking place, Supper Club, September 2nd, tomorrow in the greater Boston area. It will be taking place at Rocco's, I think was the restaurant's name, but don't quote me on that. But of course, you can just Google Unshrunk Brownstone Supper Club, Greater Boston for tomorrow. Tickets are $50. They're probably sold out, and maybe there are a few more. So a bunch of us will be down there for that. Bunch of Free Staters will be at the Brine Riot here in Manchester tomorrow. So if you're in the Manchester area, come out for that. The other top of the ticket one I want to mention before we get into sort of the day by day, and I'm going to go really fast through those, always go to fsp.org/calendar. And if you just want it in your inbox, just sign up for the newsletter. It's not that hard. All right, the other big event coming up actually for October, so this is more a mark your calendars moment, is Sunday, October 12th from 8:30 to 4 p.m. We will be having the Free State Bitcoin or Free State Blockchain Digital Assets Conference. That is taking place in Newcastle, New Hampshire. Newcastle is one of the fantastic little towns here in the great state of New Hampshire out on the Free Coast. And that'll be Sunday, October 12th. And you can register for your tickets online. So basically, FSP DAC is bringing together some of the top financial innovators, researchers, company leaders, and other Bitcoin enthusiasts to explore topics such as digital assets, securities, cryptocurrencies, and other emerging technical applications. You can also hear about the things we're doing here specifically in New Hampshire with regard to real estate. I, of course, am a real estate agent, and you can reach me at carla@porcupinerealestate.com. I will be one of the speakers at this fantastic event, which might even be in I want to say 5th or 6th year now. Preston Byrne, who's the head of legal and compliance for Arkham, very smart guy who knows a lot about the First Amendment. Jonathan Mohan, founding contributor to Ethereum. Stephanie Vaughan, co-founder and COO of Veda Tech. Eric Brakey, our own here from the Free State Project executive director, will be there on that event. I will be there. Josh Lawler, partner at Zuber Law. And then last but not least, Patrick Lowry, CEO of Samara Asset Group. And then, of course, Joe Valenzuela. He is the director of marketing at Dash. He is also a longtime Free Stater who has been living off crypto for a very long time. Very knowledgeable, great guy. All right, so it's supposed to be a relaxing and casual day together. It's kind of like we get together. It's a whole bunch of really fantastic people. It's just small enough and intimate enough where you can really, get to know people and really talk about the things you're passionate about. So definitely mark your calendars for that Sunday, October 12th, and it'll be at the Wentworth at the seaside, Wentworth, really great, beautiful old New Hampshire hotel. So just come for that. And honestly, if you're kind of into crypto and your family isn't, come too. There'll be things for your family to do. There's a full fest. There's always something going on. And of course, prettiest time of the year. All right, since I am kind of exhausted and I want to go just veg before the full week starts. I literally have a full week of work, and I've got, stuff Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. In fact, I believe, and maybe even Sunday. So it's going to be one of those weeks. I'm glad I got my fasting out of the way, as they say. All right, what's coming up this week? If you are confused at any stage, go to fsp.org/calendar. the highlights that were in Chris's newsletter that went out yesterday. And I believe there was also a FSP newsletter that's out. Great content. Please sign up. They're doing a really, really good job. And we're increasing our number of porcupine patrons quite significantly. Like, things are cooking. All right. So this week we have a weekly Patriot breakfast. There's a Manchester crypto meetup. There's a Bardo potluck and Upper Valley New Movers party. There's the Merrimack Valley porcupines. I believe we have our New Movers party, unless I am in the wrong week, which is also possible. Yeah, we do. Here at the Quill on Friday, September 5th is the New Mover potluck. So honestly, I'm not going to go over all of these, but if you are watching this, it is now 5:30. If you feel like smoking a cigar, you could go to the Liberty and Cigar meetup. That will be in Londonderry from 6 to 8 p.m. tonight. Tuesday, always on Tuesdays. What happens? Tap Room Tuesday. That's right. Tap Room Tuesday at Murphy's. Wednesday, Lancaster from 8:30 to 10:30, the North Country AP US History course for homeschoolers. So if you are a homeschooler up in the North Country, go hit them up at the Brine Clubhouse at 70 Main Street in Lancaster. Also on Wednesday is always the FSP Porcupine Report. That is where our executive director, Eric Brakey, sits down with the movers and shakers from the Free State. All right, Thursday, we have that Patriot Breakfast I told you about. That takes place in Seabrook from 8 to 9 a.m. That is at Linda's Breakfast and Lunch Place. Also on Thursday, we have 3 other events. We have Lancaster, the North Country Chorus, calling singers of all levels. We will work as a group to develop vocal techniques that will help you improve and gain confidence to tackle any music. All right, bring your favorite acoustic piece to practice. It's free for Pine members, and then there's a $5 donation for non-members. That one is hosted by Amy Norris at the Pine Clubhouse. Also on Thursday, Dover, 6 to 9 p.m., Dover Liberty Outreach Meetup. That is hosted by Sarah Scott, and that one is at the Thirsty Moose Tap House in Dover. Also on Thursday at Manchester, there is a Manchester monthly shoot, recurring every first Thursday in Manchester. The regular rate is $25 per hour. Use promo code #FSP5 for a $5 discount. That one is hosted by James, and it takes place at the Manchester Firing Line Range on Brown Avenue near the airport in Manchester. As I already mentioned, on Friday, September 5th, New Movers Potluck. That is at the Quill, hosted by Patrick Binder. This is where we welcome new movers who have come in the past few weeks and months to the great state of New Hampshire. Also then that's the one on Friday. Then Saturday, I'm going to do these last few and then book out of here. Saturday, we have Lancaster, the Pine Market Day. That one is hosted at the Pine Clubhouse, hosted by Amy Norris. So this is kind of where you can go both to the Lancaster farmers market, but then also come and do this one. There's Merrimack Valley Porcupines on Saturday. There is the Tinkerers Gathering. That one is at the Prickle. So the MVP is Manchester, 11:30 to 1 p.m. every first Saturday. That is where we get together, and that is with Jeremy Olson at the Quill. Then Saturday as well in Concord at the Prickle, hosted by Dylan, calling all creators, tinkerers, artists, and tradesmen. So that sounds kind of interesting. And then also on Saturday, Croydon, 5 to 9 p.m., Bardo Potluck and Upper Valley New Movers Party. That is hosted by Emily Smith, a longtime Free Stater at Bardo Farm. So then on Sunday, we have North Country Sunday Yoga. We've got the Garnet School Ruck. We have Manchester Crypto Meetup. We have Social Sunday in Keene. And we have the Nashua Liberty Social. And you can find all the details for all those ones on the website fsp.org/calendar. FSP stands for Free State Project All right, that's all I got the energy for today. I am still regrouping from my 3-day fast that I broke yesterday. Feel really good, but definitely feel like I need to take a slow night tonight to ramp up for this crazy week ahead. During this week, I will start to talk about legislation that will be coming out, what kind of things we're looking at. I actually caught up when I was doing something in the kitchen this morning on a great documentary called Terms and Conditions. It's kind of old now. It came out in 2013, but it kind of talks about all the surveillance tech that has been created that we are just accepting into our lives. Covers a little bit of Snowden, Assange, all of that good stuff. There are bills coming up that are these sort of tech privacy bills that I am personally very interested in. Things like stopping geofencing, stopping the police from actually using private companies to buy data that they could not get with a Fourth Amendment warrant, and sort of trying to arrest some of those things. So anyway, lots coming up. Fall is always a very, very, very busy time here in the Free State, but we wouldn't want it any other way. So always good news, growing, happy, thriving community. Come join us. Sign up for the FSP newsletter, and I will see everyone back here again tomorrow. Today was day 245 of my living experiment, where I jump on here every day to capture life in the Free State. All right. Thanks, guys. Peace out.